Hey everybody, it's Tox from Crits Happen. Thanks for watching and welcome back. Well, it's 2015. Happy New Year, and I hope you had a safe, healthy, and happy celebration. We asked everybody maybe about a week ago or so, we asked everybody to tell us what your favorite games were from 2014. And today we're going to go through some of the numbers. I'm really kind of excited about this. I just pulled all the numbers. I haven't looked at them to see where we're at, so I'm going to learn the same time that you learn, I guess. But what I did is I had asked everybody as a kind of a crit list question to give me your number one, number two, and number three games of 2014. And I've taken all the comments from our YouTube channel and all the comments from our Facebook page where some people have left some stuff as well. And I tallied it up. It's all over the board, exactly as I honestly had expected it to be. There's a lot. There's a lot of really good stuff that came out this year. And we had unique titles. We had 57 unique titles that were voted on, so that was pretty exciting. A little bit of everything: dice games, card games, board games, miniatures games, war games, skirmish games, the whole nine yards. So let's get right to it. So the we'll just start with the most. Let's see who got the most votes, whether it was 1, 2, or 3. So what I did is for example, if somebody said Kanban as their number one game, I marked that as one vote for first place. And then if somebody later said that Kanban was their second favorite game, then that was one vote for second place. So let's see who got the most total votes. This is not a surprise. So the most total votes at 19 is Dead of Winter from Plaid Hat Games. Dead of Winter is a great game. It is, I honestly did not get to play Dead of Winter as much as I would have liked to. But Dead of Winter is, it's artistically a really, really good game. It just looks really good and separate from the pack of zombie survival type games. But B, it's how it executes itself that really separates it. There are tons of zombie games or survival games and things like that on the market, and Dead of Winter does a great job of making you feel as though you're part of the actual experience that's happening, that you're not just playing a game, but you're actually all experiencing this event together, and it's so much fun that way. So very happy to see that. 19 total votes, Dead of Winter. Second most votes, a game that really doesn't surprise me very much at all, even though it really was only released for maybe 3 weeks or 2 weeks in 2014, is Star Wars Imperial Assault. It's Descent, it's Star Wars. What more could you ask for other than it comes packaged with your own lightsaber? It's pretty amazing. I have played Star Wars Imperial Assault. I'm a huge Descent fan, as most of you know. I love Descent. I think it's a great experience, and what they've done from a Star Wars perspective is phenomenal. I don't know how easy it's going to be to keep up with both Descent and Star Wars Imperial Assault, because A, it's so expensive, and B, there's so much campaign stuff in both that's going to be really interesting, so we'll see how that works out. But that came in with the second most votes at 11. And then number 3 was a tie by two separate companies, and I guess now one company since one bought the other. But with 10 votes each, 5 Tribes from Days of Wonder and Splendor from Asmodee. Two great games. I have loved 5 Tribes since Gen Con. I think it's a very, very fun game. I personally like Abyss better. Bruno Cathala did both of them. Charles Chevalier was involved in Abyss. I really just, artistically, gameplay-wise, mechanics-wise, I really thought Abyss knocked it out of the park. I think it was one of the better games of the year. And Splendor has been on everyone's radar. I mean, it was Spiel des Jahres nomination. It was all over. I mean, every convention I went to in 2014, somebody was playing Splendor someplace in the convention. It was pretty amazing. So there are some honorable mentions after that. So those each had 10 votes. Then in 4th place was Legendary Encounters, the Alien deck building game, which is a great game from Upper Deck. It uses the Legendary deck building system and puts it into a completely different universe, both from the example of the aliens, but also from the example of how you play the game. How you play Marvel Legendary and how you play Legendary Encounters are two totally different experiences, and I can't stress that enough. I think there's a lot of people that actually overlooked Legendary Encounters because they thought, oh, it's just Marvel Legendary with aliens. It's not. apart from the recruiting, the star recruitment and the fight value or icon, that's like where it stops. Like everything else is totally different. I think they did a great job with that. It's kind of a little, I don't want to say a hidden gem because a lot of people know about encounters. I just think that it gets overlooked a little bit. So that I'm glad to see that did really well. And then tied after that with 8 votes each was Sheriff of Nottingham from Arcane Wonders, which is my company, of course, and Star Realms. So I was very, really actually kind of surprised that Star Realms wasn't higher. So many people love Star Realms and so many people got into it this year. But it did do very well still. It got 8 votes as well. So that was total votes. So let's take a look at the numbers and see who got the most first place votes, second place votes, and third place votes. So let's start with third place. And I'm using Microsoft Excel because that's what everyone in the world uses. So the most votes for third place was Dead of Winter. The second most votes for third place was Splendor. And the third most votes for third place was Star Realms. So again, Dead of Winter on top, Star Realms on top, Splendor on top. Really good things. The largest, let's see, the most votes for second place game of the year. 5 Tribes with 7, Dead of Winter, and Sheriff of Nottingham. So that's exciting to see as well. And then the most votes for first place goes to a tie. It goes to a tie. The tied games are Dead of Winter and Star Wars Imperial Assault. They each got 8 votes for first place. Legendary Encounters comes in third with 6 for the #1 game. And then surprisingly, this is amazing, it only got voted on for first place votes. Kanban, which is a really in-depth worker placement type game from Stronghold Games about building cars in a car factory. I've personally not played it, but after that many votes, I may have to go check it out and see what it's like. I know a lot of people have talked about it. I've heard several of my friends talk about it, so I need to check that one out probably. I've been playing, the latest one I've been playing from Stronghold is Panamax, which is a really fun game as well. So that's it. It looks like across the board, Dead of Winter, Star Wars Imperial Assault, Legendary Encounters, 5 Tribes, Splendor, and Sheriff of Nottingham are the top 5 games of the year, according to all of you. I mean, they got the most votes, they got the most things involved, they got the most traction, so that's all great, great games. Now, looking down the list, just to kind of pull some out here that I know I've played that we could talk about real quick. Imperial Settlers got 7 votes overall and kind of a mixed spattering of first, second, and third. I really, really love Imperial Settlers. I think Ignacy and Portal, they captured everything that was good about 51st State and pulled it together with a theme that made people connect to it. You know, one of the things on the box is it says civilizations that you can care about or something like that. And it's true. I mean, when I play, I get into character. Like, I act like a barbarian, or I act like, you know, Ra from the Egyptians. And there's so much fun things about Imperial Settlers. It's actually the game I've probably played the most the latter half of the year. I had, the beginning of the year, I played Sheriff of Nottingham nonstop just because of you know, being part of Arcane Wonders and playtesting and demoing it. But the latter part of the year, Imperial Settlers really took over my personal game group and my personal play style. The other nice thing is it's got a really good single-player version, and it has a brand new campaign mode. I haven't checked that out yet, but I want to. It's on their website for free, which is awesome. So good stuff there, Imperial Settlers. Marvel Dice Masters did very well. It got a couple of votes as well. I like Marvel Dice Masters. I just honestly think that Marvel Dice Masters is more of a lifestyle game, and it's a game that you're either going to invest a lot of money and a lot of time into, or you're not. And if you don't, it's really hard to play that game casually. The game really shines when you have a very good set of heroes put together, and if you're just playing it casually and you only have like an average set of heroes together, it just doesn't always click and go as well. I liked Marvel Dice Masters a lot. I played it for the first time at BGGCon 2013. I had an absolute blast with it, but I'm really looking forward to actually the DC version of the Dice Masters. Let's see, what else got some mention? Lords of Zidit, or Lords of Exodit, or Lords of whatever the heck it is. Lords of Exodit, or Zidit, however you want to pronounce it, is a great game. I did a review on it earlier in the year, and I really think that that is one of the hidden gems of the year. I think that it It's Lords of Waterdeep a little more advanced. So if you really liked Lords of Waterdeep, I would highly recommend to check out Lords of Exodus or Lords of Zidit. Let's see, what else do we have on here? Hyperborea. Okay, this one, I need to talk about this one for a second. If you haven't played Hyperborea, stop watching, go play Hyperborea. Hyperborea is, in my opinion, the hidden gem of the year. Hyperborea is a big box game from Asterion Press, and it looks really complicated, and it looks really big. I had the opportunity to actually teach some gentlemen Hyperborea at BGG-Con this year, 2014, or last year, I guess, technically now, 2014. And it was amazing. In like 6 minutes, I taught them the whole game, and they looked at me and they're like, "Oh man, you just saved us like hours of rule book." And I'm like, "Yeah, no, it looks complex, and it is a complex game, but it is not complex to understand. It is not complex to play." It is one of my favorite games of the year, and I really, really love it. Hyperborea from Asterion Press and Asmodee. Just definitely go check it out. It is a hidden gem, and I would highly recommend it. Surprisingly, so here's some things. So there's some things on here that didn't get as many votes as I thought they would get. King of New York. Let's talk about King of New York for a second. I got King of New York. I was one of the lucky people to pick up a copy at Gen Con this year. King of New York is a good game. But here's my personal challenges around King of New York. I liked King of Tokyo. I didn't love King of Tokyo. I liked King of Tokyo. The challenges with King of New York is I don't necessarily feel it added a ton more to the game to make it feel differentiated. The concept of being in Manhattan and going from lower Manhattan to middle Manhattan to upper Manhattan, it's really hard to stay in there that long. Now, it makes those moments very, very special when you stay in there, but they're really more luck-driven than strategic-driven. When you're getting beat up to a certain point, you're going to pull yourself out of Manhattan and you're going to start gaining health. We have found, in my game group at least, that while we have enjoyed King of New York, we still would rather play King of Tokyo. I don't think that it added enough to differentiate itself. It's still very fun if you like King of Tokyo, and let's face it, millions of people do. It would not be a bad thing at all to check out. I would recommend checking it out. For me personally, I was hoping it would be something more differentiated. Let's see what else got votes. Mysterium. This is a game that you're going to hear a lot about in 2015. Mysterium was a game, I think it's actually called Mystery House in Poland, where it came out. It's from Portal and Ignition again, Portal Games, the guys that did Imperial Settlers. Mysterium is, and this really sums up the year of 2014 in my opinion. In my opinion, the year of 2014 was a Reese's Buttercup year, or Reese's Peanut Butter Cup year. It was this and this had a baby. So the easiest way to describe Mysterium is it's as if Clue and Dixit had a baby. There were so many games that people were describing like that. This and this had a baby. This is what this game is like. This one is really, really fun. I realized it was going to be really, really fun when I was playing it with my friends for the first time at BGG-Con. And the guy who was giving the clues, the concept of the game is someone has died, and they are the ghost, and they get to give clues to the other people who are alive. And the clues come in the form of Dixit cards. And they have to take those Dixit cards, try to try to understand what the ghost is inferring to them through their dreams, and then pick the right cards that match to what they have. So for example, you may have to pick a weapon that the murder was committed with. And someone may give you a card that has a chandelier with eight candles on it. And you have to connect, there's 8 candles, there's 8 legs in the spider, I was poisoned, the spider bit me, that was the murder weapon was a spider. Or things like that. And it moves from like locations to people and things like that. It's a really, really fun game, very engaging, very connected. And I knew I was going to love it because the first time I played it, the person who was a buddy of mine, Ken, many of you may know him, Ken Grazer, he is Demo Ken to most people on Twitter. He was the ghost and he was giving clues, and at one point I went in one direction, and then at another point I went in the opposite direction after he had readjusted from my actions based on the first reaction to the card that he gave me. And he sat there and he goes, "You know, I never realized you could scream inside of your head so loud." I realized it was such a funny moment, and it was such a just one of those games that, again, the games that I love are the games that tell stories and the games that really bring people together to give you that experience. And that's what this game does. So Mysterium, while it didn't get a lot of votes because I don't think a lot of people have heard about it yet, you're going to hear a lot about it. Another one, if you are a big fan of Imperial Settlers, Deus, D-E-U-S. Deus is going to be one that got a couple of votes here. You're going to probably hear a lot more about it in 2015. Surprisingly, Pathfinder Adventure Card Game didn't get a lot of votes. I don't know if that's just because you guys as an audience from a critical community don't play that game as much. I actually thought it did a really good job of improving upon the original Pathfinder Adventure Card Game. I still love it. I think it's a great system. It is definitely a lifestyle game, but I definitely think that it is a very, very good game. Let's see what else is on here. It just kind of jumps out at me real quick. The Battle at Kemble's Cascade, really cool mechanic. Z-Man Games, definitely a good one to check out. Panamax was on here. Pandemic the Cure. Pandemic the Cure hit towards BGG Con from Z-Man Games. I don't know if I will ever play Pandemic again based on my plays of Pandemic the Cure, because Pandemic the Cure is so much fun and so fast. You can play a 5-player game of Pandemic the Cure in like 20 minutes. And you still have the decisions, you still have the interactions, you still have the you go here, I give you to this, you help me with that, you cure that disease. There's so much interaction, but it's so much faster and it's just amazing. So I really, really have enjoyed Pandemic the Cure. Let's see, Aquasphere and Cult Express and Lagoon. Lagoon got voted on here too. Lagoon is one of my favorite Kickstarters of the year from David Cott. It is Three Hairs Games. And it is a tile placement, resource control, really, really beautiful game, but it is also a very subtly well-designed mechanical game, and I've really, really enjoyed that as well. So there you have it. That's our list from you guys, the critical community. You guys did a great job. Thank you very, very much. Everyone came together, tons of comments on YouTube, tons of comments on Facebook, and I love that. That is why I do what I do and sit down in front of this camera and then sit down in front of my computer and edit all this stuff and try to make it look great so that you'll enjoy it. It's because I like that engagement and I like that discussion. So 2015 has a lot coming up. There is a rumor that there will be Crits Happen playmats available soon, so stay tuned for that. That I should know more about that soon, so I'm looking forward to sharing that with everybody. I am personally going to be at a lot of conventions this year. I am going to be, let's see, running them down really quick in my head. PAX South, which comes up in January here pretty soon. Then we have New York Toy Fair. Then we have Gamma out in Vegas in March. I have a couple of trade shows, then Origins, one trade show in between, and then Gen Con. We have Dice Tower Con in Florida, and hopefully, fingers crossed, hopefully Essen. That will be nice if we can get that done and get out there this year. And then of course BGG Con. So if it's got a con in its name, there's a pretty good chance if it's a big one that I'll be there. So if you find me, come up, say hi. Let's sit down, play a game. Let's hang out and talk or do whatever. It'd be really cool. I love meeting everybody. I ran into so many people this past year at conventions that came up and just had great conversations, and it's just been a lot of fun. So thank you. 2014 was phenomenal. It was a great year, and I'm looking forward to more in 2015. So thanks so much for engaging. Thanks for leaving your comments on this crit list for the best games of 2014. Until we see you next time, keep rolling those dice. We hope they're all crits.